Hi and welcome to Elite Rounders Game Theory Corner. Today we discuss about how to probe turns from the big blind versus button. So I've made here some scenario where the villain is opening 100 big blinds deep from the button, and we defend from the big blind. We are not talking about any specific hand here because we want to know what to do with the whole range of all the cards we have. So just in this case, we will use ace high board. What to probe on ace high boards. First of all, we can look a little bit like what Snowy would do here. For example, it would prefer the 25% c-bet, 31% checks, and 68% bets. But we could also look at you could also use bigger size as we see here. If you want to implement 2x spot, you could use that even 31% of the time. So it's kind of interesting flop. And there are some hands we should use that, right? But I think what we want to do is use probably 1/4, which is probably most common on this board. And I will let's first look at what hands they would check back here the most. What hands are the most common check backs? So for example, we should check here king 10 off, queen jack off, queen 10 off, queen 8 off, queen 7 suited, queen 6, queen 5, king 10, so queen 4. So there's still quite a lot of checks actually, but I think again population will probably bet here close to 80%, so I think it's probably a bit higher than what Snowy would do. Even king queen would check pretty much every time, especially with the backdoor, it seems like. But yeah, so anyway, there's still a lot of actually folds to turn bets. So we can look at now if we decide to check here, let's put turn which is kind of good for the big blind. Let's say if it's 3, what sort of hands should we probe here? So let's look at this. Again, Snowy would prefer 2x spot, which kind of makes sense. With some hands, you just want to put the money in as much as possible. Like 5/4, for example, you don't block any top pairs, you don't block any 2 pairs, potential other hands. There's no flush draw, of course. But yeah, 5/4 would be great as an overbet here, obviously. Pocket 3s to deuces, ace 9, ace 9, ace 3. You get a lot of value from if the villain has ace 4, ace 5, ace 6 type of hands. So it's kind of nice to bet these 2 pair combos big. As you can see, Snowy would still actually, with the 2x spot strategy, it would still prefer to check ace queen, just bet 13%, ace jack even check. But again, you should probably ask yourself, is the strategy with ace 10 going to be more profitable betting than checking? And how important it is to protect our range in this situation? If the villain is just mostly going to check back the turn as well, we should definitely just fire those ace queen, ace jack, ace 10. I feel just for value, maybe even ace 5. Of course, it depends how the villains build their range. If somebody's more tricky, they might actually have ace queen, ace king here. Sometimes when they check back, if they think you probe very wide and you bluff a lot. But let's look at a little bit different sizes. So let's use the pot size. Now we actually have 20%. So what should we bet 100%? Again, it's basically all the 2 pair combinations. Even ace 5. So anything with extra equity, you could say. So whenever you have cut shot to the nuts, it's good to bet because, again, you're potentially gaining value from the top pair. And if you hit the 4, you can still value bet the river. So it's kind of cool. So I assume we would even check more often ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, ace 10 off. And yet we would still bluff here with 10-3, for example. But I'm not sure. It's kind of are we going to bluff with that on river? I guess, I assume. But it's 73% bet here if he hit the 3 on turn. I guess potentially we could bet the turn and maybe bet river again because we can make villain fold kings, queens, jacks, tens. maybe some 9x, so it's kind of nice. So, and we block villain's 2 pair when we hit the 3 on turn, so it's pretty cool. So looking at this, let's see what's the river reaction in this case. But it's kind of interesting. We should definitely check some ace-x still here to protect our range, obviously. But a lot of 3x is actually betting, and even some deuce-x. Same concept probably as with the 3x. You block some of the 2-pair combos. So let's use the bot here. And he calls. He should still has here. Okay, this is kind of messed up. There's like 11% only calls. Okay. So let's say the river is like total brick. What are we supposed to do with the 3? Is it just to check, or are we supposed to bluff? So in this case, pot size would be bet 65%. Even 2x pot 41%. So let's look at like what hands we could potentially bluff here. So of course we have our value combos. 2 pairs, all the 2 pairs we need to bet, obviously. That's easy, all the 2 pairs. Even ace queen would be, if we bet it on turn, we would bet it on river, ace 8 even. So then we have king 3, for example, bluffing 50% of the time, king deuce. Yeah, all the king deuce, king 3 would bluff. Like kind of like 50% we are bluffing any deuce or 3, which is kind of interesting. I think a lot of people would end up just checking these on turn anyways. So instead we should kind of turn those bottom, or in this case like those hands, into a bluff, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, I think that this is it for the first video about the topic. But again, probing, this is such a big topic because there's so many different positions, there's so many different flops you can look. But I think it's good to have some idea what to bet against check range and how to act on it. So I hope you enjoyed, and next week we will follow with another probing video, part 2, and it will be a little bit different situation. But yeah, enjoy and good luck.